What's up, guys? How's it going? MikeTheTech here, and today I'm going to show you how to install Kali Linux. Kali Linux is, as they put it, their most advanced penetration testing distribution ever, and it's absolutely correct. It used to be called Backtrack Linux when it was a little bit more shady at the time, and now it's owned by Offensive Security, who puts a lot of time and research into developing the tools involved in this kit. This kit has quite a few tools, and of course, everything else you can get with Linux is compatible with this distribution as well. So it's just a really nice professional introduction to hacking and penetration testing, as it's called. So we're going to download Kali Linux, and we're going to go and download the 64-bit installer. And this is going to download the ISO. And while that's downloading, we're also going to download VirtualBox. Ideally, this is something you would install on a separate laptop and really lock down that laptop and put some time into setting that up as your penetration testing machine, especially if you plan to go war driving or cracking Wi-Fi passwords or monitoring areas or networks. You're going to want to have a separate laptop for this to run on, but we're going to use a virtual machine in this case so we can practice and learn the tools as we go. So we're going to download VirtualBox 6.1. I think I have it installed, but I just don't have it updated, so I'll go ahead and re-download the whole thing. Alright, so let's go ahead and click on VirtualBox. We're going to click on Next. We can install everything here, that's fine. We can leave all that the same. If you don't want the Start menu shortcuts, you can turn those off if you'd like. We can hit Yes, and Install. The download's going a little slow, but it looks like it should finish by the time we get our VirtualBox set up, so that's nice. Alright, so it looks like it finished installing and it finished downloading. So let's go ahead and click Finish, and it will automatically start Oracle VirtualBox. And it started it on my other screen. So now we're going to create a new virtual machine for our Kali distribution to run in. So we're going to click on New, and we're going to write Kali Linux. And on a machine folder, I'm going to change the folder to somewhere else because I want to put it somewhere where I have plenty of free space. Let's put it on this solid state drive. And we're going to make a new folder called Kali. All right, that's where I want it. And we can leave this set to Linux and 64-bit and hit Next. Now we can choose how much memory to add. We want to give it at least 2 to 4 gigs of memory to run on. I'm going to give it 4. 4 gigs of memory. I have 32. Maybe I'll give it more. I'll just give it 8. It doesn't really affect that I have 32, but yeah, give it a reasonable amount. You don't want to put it past this red because you want to leave some for your main operating system to run on so it doesn't get laggy as well. We're going to create a virtual hard disk as well. And we can leave this as a VirtualBox disk image and have it dynamically located so it will get bigger based on what you install on it. Now we can choose the default size and allocation. I'm going to change this to 20 gigabytes just to be sure that it has enough size to start at. Sorry, I believe that was actually the maximum amount of disk space, so you might want to reread that part, but I think we're good from here. So now we're going to go in and configure the virtual machine for Kali Linux. So what we want to do is go into Display and raise our video memory all the way up, and we're also going to choose Enable 3D Acceleration, and that's going to allow us to use at least some of our GPU when we're displaying what's on screen. And then under storage, we actually want to choose this first CD drive and insert our downloaded ISO image that we downloaded from Kali Linux as the virtual CD. So let's go ahead and click on that and go to choose a disk file. And we can go to our downloads and choose Kali Linux. Now we're going to click on OK. And let's go ahead and give this a shot, see if there's any errors. All right, it says select the startup disk, and we can definitely choose that one, so we'll start. And we have our choices here, so we're going to go ahead and choose with our keyboard, graphical installation. All right, so now we're in. We can close some of these dialog boxes. We could even maximize that. We're going to go ahead and choose our language and continue. We'll choose United States. We'll choose English. All right, so now we can choose a host name, which I'm just going to leave set to Kali. And we can choose a domain if we're part of a domain, and we're not at this point. If you are part of a domain, you'll just need your username and password to log into that. But if you're using Kali Linux, you probably don't want to use that. Full name for the new user, I'm going to call this test user. Test is fine. You can choose a password. And we'll just type in root, because this is just a test machine. It's not a real one. And it's easy to remember. We'll choose Pacific because that's where I am. You can choose where you are. And now it's detecting our disk, which we created a virtual one, so it should detect that. We're going to use guided. And it did detect that 21 gig VirtualBox hard drive. We'll click on continue, and we'll choose all files in one partition. And we can click on continue. Now it says, do you want to write changes to disk? It will erase some of them. That is correct. Yes. And now it is installing Kali Linux onto your drive itself, so it doesn't have to run off of the file that we downloaded, the installer that we downloaded. So now it's going to be actually running on the virtual drive we created. All right, so now we're given the opportunity to select different types of desktop environments or tools to install on our system. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose desktop environment and XFCE, which is Kali's default desktop environment. We're going to leave GNOME and KDE unchecked. And then for the tools, we're going to choose large so that it also installs all of the tools that are available, not just the most used ones. So let's go ahead and click on continue from there, and it will continue the installation. This could take quite some time because, as you can tell, there are quite a few files involved and quite a few tools involved, so you're going to want to let this sit for a bit. All right, so now we're going to install the grub bootloader on the primary drive. That's fine because it's the only operating system that's going to be running on this virtual machine. You do have another computer running, but it's not on that virtual machine, so it's fine. All right, so installation is complete. And now we're going to restart the system. So we can actually go into devices, optical drives, and it looks like it's already removed from the drive. Perfect. And now we are booted into Kali Linux, very similar to, what do we name ourselves? Test and then root. Very similar to the loading screen of Backtrack Linux, of course. where it came from, the icon, and we have access to all of our tools and applications. We'll get into more of these soon, but feel free to dive in and check them out. Many have very good documentation online. But yeah, that's how you install Kali Linux on a virtual machine. It also works on a laptop, and that is the preferred method. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Peace. What? You've never heard of Stream Savers? And you thought PewDiePie was the only YouTuber to make a game? I made a game too, and it's called Stream Savers, and it's available for pre-order right now for $9.99, and that's a great price.